We are so excited that today we are filming a safety video, and to be honest, we're a little bit disappointed that we haven't filmed this video sooner. But in honor of the new beautiful vlog wall behind us, we knew we wanted to get this video out, and this video today is specifically going to be discussing the ditch bag.
There's a lot of other safety videos that we definitely can and will be making. However, we're focusing on the ditch bag. The ditch bag is essentially the bag that you take with you when you have to abandon ship, hence the name ditch bag. Of course, you can't fit everything in here, and there are more safety supplies that you will need, but for the focus of this video, it's going to be on the ditch bag. We will touch lightly on some other things that you should have on your boat, like fire extinguishers and life jackets, but obviously a life jacket's not going to fit in there. So we'll definitely have to do another video on safety supplies to have on your boat. But for this video, let's get started and talk about the ditch bag.
My name's Amanda.
My name is Emily. Welcome to our channel, Gale Force Twins.
Before we move any further, I do want to say that these are the key items that we are going to be keeping in our ditch bag, but please, please, please do your own research. I would appreciate it if you don't consider this an exhaustive list. However, if you do purchase this actual ditch bag, it does come with a little list on it ready to go for you, so it kind of takes the guesswork out of it, but the Coast Guard also has tons of information on the safety items that should be going inside your ditch bag.
We will be linking the items that we have in our ditch bag in the description box, as well as some other items that you may need or be interested in. So we'll put that all in the description box for you, but let's get into this video. Obviously, you can definitely take the time and buy a really nice bag, which we highly recommend, but our first ditch bag that we ever had when we first started fishing and getting on the water, especially when we were alone, was literally a backpack and a knee perb. Now, that is definitely not enough by any means, but don't stress it. Just make sure you have a bag that you can take with you.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be. And at one point, it was a duffel bag. Then we graduated from a backpack to a duffel bag.
And the duffel bag was waterproof.
It was a waterproof duffel bag, but it didn't float.
So floating,
I would pick floating over
reflective,
waterproof.
Bright. Yes. The first thing we're going to start with is the emergency marine kit. Now, not everything in this bag came in the bag, but we're going to open it up and get to it. Something to seriously consider is, unfortunately, worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is you're out stranded for day and night. So what do you need? You need daytime and nighttime distress signals. That's going to be different flares and different tools that will help you guys be found when it's different times of day.
Exactly. Some of the items that did come in this distress bag include a flare gun with red flares. Now that is going to be a great nighttime signal, or if it's cloudy out, you want to use these red flares that come with the flare gun. But what if it's daytime and it's super sunny? You're gonna want the orange smoke. So those are different situations where, depending on the sunlight or what's going on around you, is gonna depend on if you want a daytime or nighttime signal. Another daytime signal is going to be a whistle. Now,
That's a mirror, Amanda.
Mirror. Is going to be a mirror. Now this mirror still has the coating on it to protect the mirror, so I'm not gonna rip it off, obviously. We're saving it for distress reasons, but it actually has instructions on the back on how to use it. You can buy a specific mirror that's designed to help rescuers find you and identify you, so that makes it a great daytime signal. Now, another day and night signal would be a whistle. A whistle is great to have. So of everything that came in this bag, we added the mirror, we added the whistle, and we added the light.
This light is actually, I would say, multiple tools in one. So the main reason why we got the light was because we needed a strobe light. Strobe lights are highly recommended because, guys, when you think about it, you need to be flashing, you need to be obvious, you need to be like, I'm here, come get me, and we can literally just turn this on and you can see it strobes. It's pretty bright.
Just like that.
Not gonna lie. But we also specifically got this light because it also duals as a flashlight.
Yes, so imagine it's nighttime.
You're trying to see, maybe you need to get some medical supplies. It's a flashlight on top of a strobe light. We also have these day and night handheld flares, and these flares, guys, is what you're going to use when you see a rescue vessel within sight. So if you're out there and you can't see anybody, don't waste them.
Yes.
Save them until you see someone, and instead of yelling, hey, over here, you use one of these. But guys, everything we're telling you, there's instructions on here.
And a safety manual.
And a safety manual.
On this actual kit that we bought, it thankfully came with a safety manual.
So I feel like this could be very overwhelming and we might be briefing over a lot of this, but we don't want this video to be an hour long. So we're going to touch on everything as we continue, but just remember there are instructions on all of these tools.
Here we also have a distress flag. Should we open up the distress flag?
Yeah, let's open up the flag.
All right, what does a distress flag look like? This is a great daytime signal. Nighttime signal, not so much. So what happens? There we go. Oh, it's big. It's very big. So obviously, if you're out swimming at sea, this flag might not be very useful. But if you're on your boat and your boat is still floating, and
Or you're in a life raft.
or you're in a life raft, you can get this flag up. It would be a great daytime signal. It's bright orange. People are going to see it and they're going to say, oh, that's a distress flag. It could be a commercial vessel. It could be, even if it's a regular fisherman that's going by, they're going to see this and be like, that's weird.
That's strange
Even if
looking.
they don't know it's a distress flag. So it's great to have daytime signals and nighttime signals.
As we move on, I do want to bring light to the fact that these distress signals in here will expire. So make sure you check your dates and you mental note that. Guys, if it's been 4 or 5 years, you're definitely going to want to check them. A lot of these in here expire in 2024. So I know I got to check them.
The next item that I do want to talk about, which isn't exactly, especially when we're looking at this fancy list, it is not underneath one of the essential survival equipments, but I think I personally do find it essential, is a knife. I think you'd be crazy not to have a knife with you, whether you need to cut a rope, whether you're stuck to something, whether maybe you're really advanced and you're able to catch some fish while you're out there. You're really going to want this. Just make sure that it's in a sheath. Please make sure it's in a sheath. You really don't want to hurt anybody either in the process or hurt yourself.
We also have a VHF radio. And this isn't just any radio, guys. This is something that you can take with you if you have to get off the boat. Let's say your radio's not working, you have a backup. But this one is
waterproof.
Yes,
which
waterproof.
we intentionally bought a waterproof VHF because the ditch bag itself is not waterproof. Or you could put it in a bag, but imagine you do have to actually abandon the boat. You're going to be glad you have this. Or maybe you get onto an island and you want to walk around, you can take it with you. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but just having it be waterproof is useful. It is a little bit more money to get the waterproof one, but our personal opinion is
safety has
there's no cost on it.
In the same category as the VHF radio would also be a handheld GPS. This is our handheld GPS. We actually use it for fishing spots. I've used it for a compass. I've used it for a lot of things before. But basically, you want things that you can take with you that your boat, let's say you can't be on your boat, what are you going to do? If you get off your boat, you lose your radio, you lose your GPS. Now we have both.
Take them with you, but remember, always have spare batteries, which that's kind of going to take us into the dry box. Or maybe you're going to use a Ziploc bag, but whatever you're going to use, it's going to be great to have a dry box that you can put inside your ditch bag. So our dry box is going to include spare batteries for both, whether it's our strobe light that we have, that takes batteries, whether it's our waterproof radio, whether it's our handheld GPS. It's really great to have some batteries, but why don't we take a minute, go over the rest of the dry box. Now, everything in here doesn't need to stay dry, but something that is absolutely essential, I would say never, ever, ever do not have this. Is that right?
No, you said do not have this. Oh, never not have it. Never not have it.
Always
have
Dramamine or seasickness medication on your boat in your ditch bag. The reason we do this is because even if you don't get seasick, what if you're out there, you're stuck on your boat, and all of a sudden a storm comes and there's 10-foot seas? Well, you're probably going to get seasick. And the number one safety concern at that point probably isn't your boat flipping. It's going to be seasickness, which is going to lead to dehydration, which is just going to make the whole survival experience that much more difficult.
Definitely proactively take the seasickness meds. Don't wait until you're seasick. They're not going to work. But definitely take that, have it with you. We also have sunscreen. Not only do we have regular sunscreen, but we also have lip sunscreen. Guys, I'm sure if you guys have been on the water, getting your lips burned is no fun. So this is the same thing. Lip sunscreen,
not only
regular
that,
sunscreen.
but it's painful to get sunburned.
Oh, yes.
If you're out there for an extended period of time, your boat doesn't have a T-top, or like I said, maybe you're floating. That would not be good. Hopefully you're not floating.
Something else to touch on would be prescriptions. We have extra sets of contacts in here if you have any medication, glasses, backup glasses, things like that. Have that in a dry box because, like we said, guys, we don't know what can happen.
You might be out there for a while, but hopefully you're not, because you have a personal locator beacon or an EPIRB. Now, we have an EPIRB that's already attached to our boat, and if for some reason the boat did sink, it's automatically going to deploy for us and tell the Coast Guard. It's going to tell the world, hey, these people need help, come and get them. And we also have a handheld version. This one you have to actually manually activate.
But what's nice about the handheld is that you can take it with you. So this bag, I think something else we could talk about, is something that you can take with you. So if you're going on a friend's boat and you don't know what their safety tools are, guys, don't trust anybody. Take your own stuff. So that's why it's good to have handheld locator beacons and not just think, oh, well, there's one on my boat. No, you should have both.
Have both, and this is also great to maybe keep in your backpack. Maybe you're just going paddleboarding by yourself, and maybe you get caught in the current. This is something really easy and small to have with you that is going to make a very big difference. Some more items that I might want to touch on that might be easily overlooked in a safety situation or a ditch bag is going to be, like we had our sunscreen, but it's going to be more sun protection, including things like a spare hat, maybe a buff, or a spare pair of sunglasses. And the reason for all that is because don't forget, especially if there's more than one of you, maybe you take turns sleeping, but somebody always has to be on the lookout, looking for another boat, looking for signs of land.
The Coast Guard.
Whatever it is. So if the sun's setting, the sun's in your eyes, you're really going to be limiting yourself on trying to see a rescuer and then notify a rescuer. So having a pair of sunglasses or a hat or something that's going to help you see visually is great, but on top of it all, these are going to protect your skin, your face, and your body from the sun exposure you may be getting.
Another very important item that you're going to need in your ditch bag is a medical kit. Now this medical kit is on the smaller side, although it's got some pretty cool stuff in it. We also have a much larger, more advanced one that we keep on our boat. So yes, we do need to make another video on supplies that you keep on your boat because our big medical kit is literally the size of this bag.
Yes.
So that's not realistic.
No.
So we have this smaller one. This is a D-Day medical kit, and it's basically essential items for, I would say especially for wounds. It's got a tourniquet. It's got shears.
It has blood clotting equipment. So this thing has puncture wound equipment. So if somebody gets punctured, like how to close up a lung kind of puncture. So this is a very advanced medical kit. We did take a D-Day class, so we learned how to use all of this stuff.
I would also like to point out that they have a rescue blanket. Guys, hypothermia and hyperthermia are extremely common in life-threatening situations.
And something I want to add is that can even happen in the Caribbean or South Florida. I know I've experienced as soon as the rain comes, the wind comes, the cloud comes, you get wet. All of a sudden it's windy. You get cold. It doesn't have to be. You might be like, oh, we're in Florida. The water's warm. Trust me, 80-degree water might not be that warm if it's very windy on top of it or it's cloudy.
The next item we're going to cover is food and water rations. We just have 2 water bottles here for example. But we also keep a 24 case of water on our boat. So maybe have a few water bottles in your ditch bag. And then food.
I would recommend, I don't even recommend, the Coast Guard recommends, ACR recommends, everybody's going to recommend food that isn't thirst provoking. You can buy these food rations online. We actually don't have any on us today, but we will put a link for you guys on something that's not going to be thirst provoking and high calorie that you can keep in your ditch bag. Once again, though, always check expiration on items like this.
I would also like to add that a lot of people think beef jerky, they think canned tuna are all great items. However, that's a common misconception. Guys, protein takes energy to digest, and you do not want to be burning any more energy than what you have. So even though it might be simple, oh, canned tuna, oh, beef jerky, definitely avoid it. Think sugars, think carbs, think those types of foods. That's what you're going to want for your situation.
Right, but I will add that, so let's say you already have food on the boat, that's great, eat it all probably.
Right, yes.
But I will add that to put in your ditch bag specifically, I would just recommend going ahead and purchasing some non-thirst provoking rations. This way there's no guessing going on.
We're already on the last item, and the last item is a signal horn, because once again, when you're out there, you guys, you need ways to tell people that you're out there. What better way than a signal horn?
But I will also point out once again that the signal horn is not something you're just going to blow and people are going to hear you from 20 miles away.
True.
This is something you're blowing when there's someone in sight.
But not to mention, Amanda, sorry to interrupt you. Another point I'd like to make is, let's say you're on your boat and everything's going fine, but then there's fog. Guys, you need signal horns with you because there might be other situations.
Exactly. So if there's fog, you need sound.
Sound, yes.
Or
some other way to say, hey, I'm here. Let's not hit each other.
Oh, that too. Hopefully a big boat doesn't run into you. So that's why the signals are good. Now, most of these signals in this bag are, like I said, things that you're going to want to use once a vessel is in sight of you and they can see you. So you're trying to say, hey, I'm here. The first thing you're going to really, really want is to make that mayday call and to activate your EPIRB, your personal locator beacon. Those are really the 2 tools that if you had nothing, if I had to pick one item out of this whole thing, I'd be picking my personal locator beacon. My handheld EPIRB, something that says, hey, I'm distressed. I would be picking that before the VHF radio, because here's the thing is, there have been times where you try to make a call, but it can't get through. Things go wrong. The radios don't always work. They have to be line of sight. So I would always, my go-to, my single item.
Locator beacon.
Locator beacon.
That kind of gets into the conversation of Mayday calls and Pan calls and how to call the Coast Guard and when to call the Coast Guard. So again, guys, this was a very short, brief overview of a safety tool to have, or I should say a safety toolbox, because you have a lot of tools in it to have with you. But guys, again, we will go into more detail because we think safety is so important. So we'll have to do more videos in the future on things like how to call the Coast Guard and Mayday calls.
And I will also add that we need to do a video on additional safety equipment to keep in your boat, like the life ring, the life jackets, like I said, maybe a case of water, a fire extinguisher. The list is really endless, but this is like a toolbox. It's a toolbox with tools inside of it. Yes. A tool with tools. You need a ditch bag. We hope you guys learned something. If there's an item that you think you absolutely need that we missed, drop it in the comments. We would love to hear it. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you follow Gale Force Twins on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.